Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.
It's your girl, DJ Miss Eclectic, and you're tuned into the Mixtape. Y'all, I have a very special guest this evening. Y'all know I'm an MC, so I love having female MCs on the show. I have my girl, Eturnul. How you doing this evening?
Hey, how are you?
Man, I'm doing well. Can't complain in Jesus' name.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Me too.
Oh, man, how are you doing? How are you doing during this pandemic?
Ooh, trying to stay cool here in San Diego. It's been super smoking hot out here in Cali the last couple of days.
Oh, wow. I can imagine. So what's y'all's average? I always feel like it's always just like nice in California. I didn't know y'all got really, really hot.
Well, compared to you guys, it's probably like that. But our weather for the last couple of years has been getting really hot. But like our 80s and 90s be feeling like y'all hundreds and 105s and 10s.
Oh,
like,
it
feels hotter. Yeah, like this last week, they said that it was up in the 100s, 107s, and I'm like, ooh, feel like I'm in Texas somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
Running the air conditioner, so I know that bill about to come out like bing bing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, everybody chip in now.
Yeah. Close them doors. Like
fans ain't working right now, boy. These fans are not. We need some swamp coolers over here.
Man. I hear you, man. I hear you. I thought this cause this humidity in Atlanta, I'm not with it. I'm from Texas, so it's dry heat. It's always hot, but this humidity is another level, okay?
Yeah, hey, whoo,
I
man.
said, listen, it's too much. So I know a lot of people that get new hobbies, and have you done anything different or brought on any new interests since the pandemic has hit?
You know, some stuff that I had on hold that I did, and I put together a little pre-production kind of mini studio right here where I'm sitting in my living room. So I've split it into an art studio for my daughter because she does art, and the other half it's like a little studio. I went and got me a I got me a blue mic, and put a couple of cushions on the wall.
There you
know,
go.
I got some little mini monitors, a little computer. So I'm gonna have to record some vocals right here because
work it out.
You know, I don't know how long this Corona gonna be going on, but I'm gonna be getting something done for God. I gotta stay busy, try to keep my mind, clear and at peace, despite everything else that's going on around us. So yeah, I got the studio going, and I'm excited about that. I recorded my first track, so I'll see what the producer say when he try to mix the tracks, if I did okay or not. I'm new at that.
Absolutely right. I hear you. Like I rap, but like when it comes to mixing the master, I'm like, listen, you got a good mic though.
It starts sounding good. It starts sounding even when it's broke. It'll start sounding good.
Yeah, it's like you gotta always have another pair of ears. Like, well, it sounded good to me.
Yeah, they be like, man,
listen, that's not your ministry. Like, oh, what I'm
yeah, I'm good on that.
Well, no, that's good. That's good. You definitely have to keep busy for the kingdom, because what they say, idle mind is the devil's workshop, like the old school.
Yes.
But no, that's good, man. So how long have you been rapping?
Man, I've been rapping for some years. I did a lot of underground rap here in San Diego, California, and on the West Coast, and just after probably I started writing though at 9, but like far as really trying to rap, it was like 97, 98. I made my like first kind of like real track. Steve Vicious, he produced some stuff for MC Hammer some years back. Steve Vicious out here in San Diego, he recorded like 2 of my first tracks, and I did a lot of street music. I did a lot of music, a lot of urban hood music, hip hop. Us on the West Coast, some of us call it rap, and then eventually I ventured out into gospel. I always had messages in a lot of my songs,
right?
But I didn't have no structure. I didn't have no understanding, especially when it came to like a relationship with God and stuff like that, and our accountability. And so eventually it did a full circle, and here I am.
Y'all, I have my girl Eturnul. If you're just now tuning in, we're talking about her rap career starting at the age of 9 and then her transitioning into gospel music. So let's talk about this transition into gospel music. So you're making music for the streets, you're making some good music, but it's not necessarily gospel music. So what made you make that transition?
I started realizing I always knew that I had a calling on my life. Like even when I was younger, I wrote really great songs, songs about things that we're even dealing with today. Back then, a lot of that was going on growing up. So I always kind of implemented God in a lot of music that I did, but I knew that I had a bigger calling on my life and the influence that I had in my community. And God started dealing with me with that. I started going through a lot of spiritual warfare, a lot of battles with family, my children, and my minister, fellow brother, which is also a psychologist. He told me that my battle was between good and evil. And at that point, God was dealing with me on, there was some things in my heart that I didn't let him take care of. You know how we give everything to God, but there's still this like two or three different things. It depends on, everybody's different. But it's like, God, you can have all of this, but nah, sister whoopty whoop or homeboy such and such.
Exactly.
Nah, it's still on with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was an area in my heart that I had not let God deal with me, and he showed me it. He showed me plain as day. And that's when I had, pretty much broke down, and some other things had happened in my life that God had got me out of. And I didn't look back until years later and be like, man, God was watching over me then.
Wow.
I was supposed to be dead. And I never forget to say, if you would have been a boy, you would have been dead a long time ago.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, I got to start doing this for God. And then it became a struggle, because at that point I didn't have a covering. I had got baptized in 2001. I didn't have a covering, a spiritual mother and father that could, just kind of help guide me, and me watch them. And then when I finally was blessed with that, I was able to start learning the word, learning about a relationship and commitments. When you grow up in some families, like my mother's side, I had my grandma and grandpa, so there was a husband and a wife, but then there's a lot of single family homes that I see. So there's a lot of unbalance going on, in other areas of my life. And so once I start realizing that, hey, a relationship with God is just not, we could repent, because there's people that do teach you that, hey, once you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then that's your ticket into heaven. You can pretty much do whatever you do, pretty much purposely sin, and you could say, forgive me, Lord, and you good.
Right.
But there comes a commitment. You can't use God like that. And so that's what I learned later on, is that, hey, you can't just, though your heart is good and you do good things for people, and the money that you're making out here hustling and doing whatever you're doing, you're putting it into something positive, you still not doing right. You know what I mean?
Right.
You still, you got one foot in and one foot out. And so there was a tussle with that for some years with me, until I realized that, hey, a relationship is a two-way street. It just, you can't just get what you want from somebody and expect everything to go right. You got to do your part. You got to play a part in this relationship. And that goes with whether it's parent and child, husband and wife, your job, wherever. It takes two. You have to participate in that relationship. And I realized I had to make a commitment, and become a sacrifice unto God, make my body a sacrifice unto God. And so I started writing, gospel music. Some of my homies would come through and be like, let me hear that first gospel track you did, and I let them hear it. And it encouraged me, because they wanted to hear the track, and they like, yeah, they like that, and I'm like, cool, and so I took on the name Eturnul, because I had a street name. They call me Tish Baby, and I wanted a name. First, I was trying to get out of myself, because I was being taught that we always put other things before God. You know what I mean? We make other things God besides God in our life. So I like having money. I like making money back then, and so I figured, hey, I needed a name, and God showed me I needed a name that didn't represent myself. It wasn't about me anymore, and that's where Eturnul came in.
And that's major. That's major.
And Eturnul was like, hey, I want to represent the God I serve. And so it means endure, truth, understand, receive, nourish, unconditional love. And that's the love that God has for us. It's unconditional, and we have to receive it. We have to endure whatever's gonna happen, but it's unconditional love that he gives us. Even after we done turned our back and did what we want to do and all of that, he had to have unconditional love for us to give us another chance. You know what I'm saying? Another chance to get right with him.
Yes, he did. And I love what you said about pretty much putting self out the way. Because I hear a lot of songs now. Sometimes I have to be like, is that Jesus music or not? Because, a lot of times we still talking about ourselves in songs and it's about God. So I love what you said right there. That's why I said like that's major what you just said. And you're right.
And it's easy to get like that.
Yeah, it is.
Those are the characteristics that we be having that sometimes we shouldn't. Some of them are God's, characteristics, jealousy and different stuff. I'm a jealous guy. Like, hey, I'm jealous. We got some of the characteristics, but we got to use it in the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah, use it in the right way.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with self-love. There's nothing wrong with confidence. But like there's a thin line right there. So
it is a totally thin line right there. Like, for real.
So yeah,
it's God's glory, like separating, knowing that this is God's glory. That's why when people they may give me an accolade and they be like, how do you feel? But like, man, as long as God's pleased with me, that's what really mattered to me. You know what I'm saying?
That's what matters at the end of the day. I always say, Lord, I hope I'm in your will.
I'm trying to have that ticket. You feel me? Like, I'm trying to a ticket, they accept my ticket at the gate.
Come on now. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want my ticket to be voided or expired or none of that.
No, I need my tickets to be
VIP.
Yes, I need to be A grade. I need to, matter of fact, I need to skip the line, Lord. I'm just joking.
Man, you know what I'm saying?
It's your girl DJ Miss Eclectic. If you're just now tuning in, I have my girl lyricist, the greatest, Miss Eturnul. How you doing over there? So you were in Southern California.
Southern, the south, the southern is Southern California.
It never rains.
Next to the Mexican border.
I know about the Mexican border. I'm from Texas. Shout out to Mexico. I love Mexico.
Ooh,
and I really
love Mexico. I missed it. Me and my uncle talking about going to Rosarito. I missed the food over there. I'm like, I'm trying to go right now if I could. He like, let's wait another month. I'm like, man, I miss it over there. I love Mexico.
Man.
I love it, very gifted and amazing, people over there. Some of our bloodline is over there. Some of us just don't know it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love Mexico. I was just in Mexico last year. I was in Monterrey, Mexico. I had a blast. I was like, those are my people. And then I went out to Cozumel, and then I went to, where'd I go? Yucatan.
Was you on a boat?
Well, the second time I was on a boat. The first time we flew to Monterrey. And my dad went to college there. So it was an amazing experience. It was like a reunion. They were football champions there from Monterrey Tech. So we had a great time. We had a great time in Mexico. I've been to Mexico quite a few times, but I love Mexico. I always feel welcome there. I love it. I'm all with it. So.
I took my first cruise to Ensenada, and I just fell in love with that place. I was already in love with Mexico even when I was younger, but I just got to experience a whole different part of it, and so.
Yeah.
I love going over there and eating and just, seeing everybody and just enjoying the vibe. When people are welcoming, to you, you don't get a lot of that sometimes. You know what I mean? So when people are welcoming to you and, non-judgmental, just glad to see your smiling face. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. And there's like a wave of people. There's actually a show on TV. I think it's on HGTV. There's a wave of people who are actually moving to Mexico. And I see why. Like you said, you feel really welcome. You don't really feel the racism sometimes that you feel here. Like, it's just really welcome. Like, come on. And
it is. It really is. I got one of my producers that produced 805 South Remix. He lived over there. I didn't even know he had been living over there all these years. He was like, man, I packed my bags. The cost of living over here is too high.
Gosh.
And he packed his bags. He said he struggled to take care of his children and all kind of stuff. He said God has showed him. He went over there and started a whole new life. He paid like $450, got his 2-bedroom place. It paid for his thing to go back and forth across the border, VIP, and his phone bill. I said, what? He said, and he's in like a community, like, what is that? The homeowners kind of association type of thing.
Right.
He's like in like a community kind of like that, where it's, gated, I guess. He said it's nice. I was like, wow.
I'm moving next month. He said $450 a month. I'm moving.
Yeah, he said he was out of there. He said his life has been so great ever since.
Wow.
So great.
Well, man, listen,
ever since.
I get it. I definitely understand why people are moving to Mexico. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, there, Atlanta, Texas, like, Cali, the it ain't no joke. San Diego, Frisco, where else? There's a couple of cities out in Cali, boy. Whew, you can have 3 houses out there where y'all at.
Yeah, y'all's cost of living is
It's crazy.
astronomical. I don't even have a word for it. It's up there.
Gentrification at its finest.
Yes, I've lived in DC and that cost of living is high as well. But oh my gosh, I actually was at the Stellar Awards last year, and which were in Vegas. And I was talking to a lot of people that I was talking to, like, in Uber rides and Lyft rides. They were saying, a lot of people I was talking to, they were saying, a lot of drivers were saying that they were just moving from California to Las Vegas because the cost of living was just absolutely too much.
Yeah, my best friend is out there in Vegas right now. She out there in Vegas. If you could survive out here, you could survive anywhere. Or New York is expensive too.
Oh yeah,
I know New York.
Yeah,
I was looking to go out there for the Shark Tank little thing, to take my brand out there for my nonprofit stuff. Man, I looked at them hotels and I was like, Lord, I'm gonna need a sponsor.
He was like, I can't do that, Lord.
And I said, a couple of sponsors, God.
Yeah.
But but places like that. But Mexico is definitely there. Even I heard Ghana and Nigeria people is moving back there too. They say this is the year to return.
Yes,
so there's a lot going on with that. They're talking about the year to return. So I definitely wouldn't mind. I got my passport. Me and my son was talking about it last night. I was telling him, I was like, man, I got to get y'all passports. You know what I mean? They need their passport. So I found out I could get one. I was like, God, I don't have no stamps yet, sis. But
it's all right. You can get them.
Soon as they let me out the gate, we running. We came into the new year prepared to travel. And some things happened. Me and my daughter dealt with some health issues. We don't know for sure if it was the corona, but we believe that it might have been a strain of it before they locked us down. And so, man, we just waiting now. As soon as they let us up out of the stalls the horses be in, once they let us up out of there, we running. Yeah, we running. God will.
I'm with you. Yeah, we were supposed to do an all-female DJ tour in Ghana this year, so I'm like, listen.
Wow.
I'm like, listen, come on, COVID. Come on, like.
Oh man, yeah, come on, man. Corona's all right. Corona tripping.
Yes, Corona is definitely Corona
tripping for real, man.
It's definitely. I mean, it's been some blessings that have come out of it as well, but
totally. Like I'm not complaining, by far, because it's definitely, it could be other things going on with us, A lot of people have lost families. People have been sick and different stuff. I told my uncle, I said, hey, if I got to go get me a little custom astronaut suit, I'm going to start traveling in a minute.
Come on now, I'm a whole hazmat. I told somebody I'm going to give me a whole hazmat suit.
That'd be kind of live. That'd be like kind of, gospel funkadelic. You feel me? Like
George Clinton for gospel.
Yeah.
Like, just straight up. Like, just straight up. But I figure, what were you saying, sis?
Yeah, because they would be one that come out like that though, for real.
Oh, all day. They come straight out in the airport, straight with it.
Like Rona, what? We ain't worried about no Rona.
That'd be a whole funkadelic song. But I figured I said this would be some good music that comes out of this.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely have been I think some of my greatest songs. I've definitely developed some great songs that's coming out. And the message that God has given me is just to bring love. People need that right now. They need love. They need comfort. They need peace. The spirit of depression and anxiety and suicide. And so the stuff that God has been giving me is those healing tracks, uplifting tracks.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely needed right now. Let's talk about this single, Blessings. Tell us about this single.
Yep, like I shared with you, me and my daughter, my youngest daughter, we had went through a trying time with health. We were dealing with health, and she had got sick. We both had went to the emergency in December 2019, wow. And we had this weird cough. It was strange, it was just like. It was really strange, and we went. They gave us antibiotics the next day. My daughter didn't go to sleep. She started complaining about her breathing, and she was thinking something was stuck in her throat. So we went back, and they eventually ended up keeping her because she had a little fever, and they did all these X-rays and different stuff, but they couldn't get the thing that they wanted to do on her neck because, of course, she was very scared by now because her breath was getting cut off.
Oh yeah.
So they gave her some anxiety pills, and man, my daughter went into a catatonic state.
Oh my God.
She stopped walking. She went in a diaper. She stopped talking. She started drooling at the mouth. She ended up losing 12 pounds.
Oh my God.
They sent her home after that, after 10 days in a hospital. I thought she was having seizures because she has had seizures in the past. And they said, no, it's not seizures, but her body was doing strange things. And on the 7th, before that happened, I had looked, and in China, there was some cases, but they weren't calling it the corona. It was like about 6 cases of a rare pneumonia that they were talking about back then. So they kept it hid, but it was already out. That was around Chinese New Year's was about to happen. So people done traveled. They let like 500 million people out. It was too late. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. At that point,
they had already let people travel. Even if Trump would have did something back then, probably they had already let so many people travel. Wow. But I was doing research, and that's what I had found in the stuff that I seen the people going through. My daughter was doing those same things. And long story short, they never found out what she had. They were going to try an antibody treatment, which I heard that they just made an announcement. That's what they're going to be trying on people, which is pretty much like putting good blood, good antibodies from somebody into your body and see if that would fix it. And that's what they wanted to do with her before she was released the last time. But they over-medicated my child, and God showed me as plain as day because I ended up getting sick. I got sick twice while she was sick. But this time, I couldn't even go to the hospital. I was wheezing out of 3 chambers in my lungs. They gave me this little breathing machine, asthma thing to bring home. And I was sick as a dog. And I'm talking about I've never felt like this. Like the doctor was asking me, can you breathe? And I was like, looking at him like, yeah. He was like, because I said, why you say that? He said, because you're wheezing out of 3 chambers in your lungs.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow. And I'm still feel like I'm still recuperating from that. But God is so good. He gave me that song Blessings because it was like, if I lose my child or if I don't make it, this is what I want my children to know. And it felt the need of love back in the household, love back in the families, breaking strongholds, bringing family back together, forgiveness and all this different stuff. And that's what that song was about. That song was about the love that God gave us, and children are a blessing no matter what you go through with your children. They might not be perfect. Some don't have children, but for those that do, and even relationships, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, family, just in general, our households, that's the enemy and he comes to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
And he breaks up households, he breaks up families and stuff. And that's what I just seen. I just knew that if I had last words, this is what I wanted to share with them. And then my daughter ended up surviving. God told me plain as day, just the soft voice, he spoke to my spirit, take her off that medication. They wanted to they had her in this medication that had her intoxicated, sis. And I'm like, my daughter, she's never been sick before. She's never really ever been sick. When she went to Virginia to visit dad, they said she got a little stuffy, sinus stuff. But my daughter, she's the one that walk around with a strong immune system. And so they had her on that medication and then wanted to give her another medication called Seroquel. While I was sick and down out of nowhere, they said they wanted to give her another medication, which is a psychotic type of medication, right? And I'm like, Lord, I started thinking these people was trying to steal my child from me. I mean, it was war. It was war. At its finest, and I knew the enemy was mad. And I said, the devil is a lie. And I told that doctor, because they were acting like they were like really with me and on my team and everything. But when I started exposing medication and research about medication, and when I started exposing stuff I knew about, that corona stuff that was going on already, they flipped the script on me, and then they started trying to make it like my daughter was mental, girl. It was wow. And I said, God, okay. I told that doctor. He said, well, what if she don't come back? Now, how do a doctor go from trying to get her home and then bring her back to him saying, what if she doesn't come back? Meaning, what if she doesn't come back to herself? I said, the devil is a lie. I said, see, your supervisor and my supervisor is two different.
Yep, come on.
I said, mine is the chief physician. He has the last say so.
Yes, sir.
And I said, and we don't speak like that, because I'm gonna be here until she come out. Because I was her only advocate. Her dad was in Virginia, so I was her only advocate. Of course, her sister, was around. Her older sister would come around, but she had to work and she had her child too. So, I was her only advocate. So when I got sick, they started wanting to medicate my daughter. They even called me and tried to put her in a facility. Said, we'll put her in this facility for half the day, and then we'll bring her home. And I'm thinking, like, where is this stuff coming from? I said, I said, well, you need to wean my child off that medication right now.
Right.
I said, I need to see where her mind and her spirit is herself. And man, they started weaning my baby off that medication. And every time I talked, she did not trust the doctors. She would not talk when them people came around. I don't know what them people were doing, but my child she would not talk to them doctors. So they thought she couldn't talk. But she did not want to be at that hospital. And they told me that 3 or 4 other kids had came in there, strange symptoms, everything, and they didn't know what was going on. Because they had a patient care person that started spending the night in there with my child. Because it was horrifying. And I would say Children's Hospital, I gave them a 5 stars before I ever took my child there for an overnight stay. After that, I was like, Lord have mercy. I thank God for the honest and real medical workers, but definitely something was going on there. Something serious was going on there, and I thank God for her. And so she ended up featuring on the track. Because God gave me the song right before she got out of hospital, and she ended up getting out the hospital. And I said, baby, you want to sing this part? And I just wanted to just love on her. I just wanted to love on her, and I wanted my children, because at any given time, we don't know when that last moment, that last hours is. And forgiveness keeps us from God, and it keeps us, from healing and everything else. And she hadn't did anything, but I just felt like my children needed to know that I loved them, and my older children. And so, and I believe other people needed to hear that song. And it might not have just been a mother and daughter relationship, or father and child. It could just be anything, brother and sister. It could be brother and brother. Just the forgiveness and bringing love back in the household. And that's where that song came from. God is love.
Amen. Yeah, that's a strong testimony, and I know that's going to touch somebody who's been through a familiar situation. I know I've heard of a couple of situations where people have had similar stories, not to that extent, but have been sick in December, thinking that it might have been a strand of COVID. But that's a very powerful testimony, knowing that God is literally the author and the finisher. I praise God that your daughter is doing well. It's your girl DJ Miss Eclectic. If you're just now tuning in, I have my girl Eturnul all the way from It Never Rains in Southern California. Hey, I don't sing, but that was in my spirit. No, I'm just joking. Oh my gosh. If you're just now tuning in, and she just shared a very, very powerful testimony about her and her daughter and the new song Blessings. So tell everybody what's next for you. You've written this beautiful song Blessings. You got a new EP coming out, Mission Possible. What can we expect, with the remainder of 2020?
Oh man, you could definitely expect some devil stomping going on. There's been a lot of spiritual warfare, so we're gonna be dropping that EP. Blessings is leading the EP.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna be working with the young lady Angelique Jonelle, which some of you know featured on Radical Light in the Dark World. We're gonna be working on her solo project. I will be the executive producer, so I'm really excited about that. We're gonna be pushing a nonprofit organization, and that's the 3 E's we believe in: educate, encourage, and empower somebody. So you can expect a lot of work. We'll be very, very busy. And this EP will be a visual EP as well. So there will be a video to every song that we drop.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
I like that visual EP. You got to tell everybody. So where do we follow you on social media, your website? Give us all outlets where we can follow you, buy your music, where we can get this EP. Tell us everything.
You could go to DistroKid, or you could go to Apple Music, Google, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere digital music is sold. And the project is Mission Possible. My artist name is spelled Eturnul. And you can follow me on all social media at I'm Eturnul. I am Eturnul, and it's always gonna be God or nothing.
Hey, I love it, man. I love your energy. I love that you shared your testimony. You've been transparent with us. Y'all make sure you go get that new EP, Mission Possible. Sis, I appreciate you. I've enjoyed you on this evening. I will definitely be supporting you in your ministry.
I appreciate you too, sis, and I'll definitely be supporting you right back.
Woo, woo. Y'all make sure you still keep it locked right here. It's the Mixtape with Eturnul. Y'all keep it locked.
Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com. Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.